It is rocking and rolling, dog. It's on.
Jumping and
We
jiving,
got
dog.
we got Tom on. Just got back from yoga,
Fucking feeling fresh.
and yeah, we made a little. We
And the runt
I don't know. We got the dog. What's his name?
runty.
Runty.
Yeah.
Jack Russell Terrier, baby.
You're on the
Little
podcast, runty.
What up, this
little
guest?
special guest, surprise guest. Man.
The first guest on the podcast.
What a fucking pleasure.
Crossing the species boundaries.
Boom.
Yeah, we're open for things, you know.
Yeah, have you guys ever seen the movie Clerks?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, how
No.
fucking good is that movie, man?
It's good shit.
This chick ends up fucking a dead dude in the bathroom. You haven't seen it. Spoiler alert. But she thinks the guy's still alive and the dude dies on the toilet and she wants to fuck him or whatever, so she sneaks in and seduces him with all the lights off. Fucks this guy and then she turns on the light and he's dead.
Well, that makes no fucking sense to me, man.
Because when you're dead,
No sense.
your dick gets hard, man. Nobody knows that.
Well,
No,
everybody
in
knows.
the movie, the guy was jerking off in the bathroom and then he had a heart attack. So that's
Yeah.
why he still had a heart on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes total sense to me, man. Thanks for dropping in the science behind it.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
chick's
man.
like, oh man, I'm gonna fucking be all sexy and walk in the bathroom and leave the lights off and make it all mysterious and
And
seduce
doesn't
the
she
guy.
say something like, "Oh, you know, I love it when you just sit still and don't say anything" or something like that?
And then she just turns on the lights and boom, man, you just turned into a necrophiliac in a fucking 10 minutes.
Yeah, man. And she can't even talk and shit afterwards.
Yeah.
I would be pretty surprised myself, man, if I was to turn off the lights and mysteriously have a little sex with a girl. And then, oh, I like it when you're all fucking silent, shit, just laying there, let me do whatever I want to you, baby. And then it turns out the chick is fucking dead, man. I would have a heart attack myself.
Yeah, but have we talked about this on here where we're talking about like what would you do if you're banging some chick and then she just died in the middle?
I can't remember. Probably.
I think it was, man, but it was just talking about like what the fuck do you do, man? You know what I mean? You keep going?
You call the police? I'm not too sure about that.
Do you finish up first? You know, I mean, like what's the fucking protocol?
Well, what if this is a pretty hard scenario, man, and nobody's gonna ask the question, so I will. What do you do if you're like seconds away from coming and then you realize?
That's what I'm saying, man. Do you finish or do you fucking stop? You know, I mean, you're already there.
No,
I don't
man,
know.
I think, morally speaking, you should stop. But, there's certain biological imperatives which once they're set in motion, there's not much the conscious mind can do to control them, So it's a complicated situation.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, something.
So,
And who else? Who's gonna know, man? You're gonna say I didn't realize till afterwards, Doug.
yeah, well, that might be a little bit of a problem, though, because when the police find a chick and you're like trying to explain this, so you realize this after you were done. I don't know, man. That's gonna be a little suspicious.
You say, you know what? I think it was right when we were both fucking coming together. She had a heart attack because her heart rate was too high, and so it all just happened right at that point.
I basically killed her with my dick.
Yeah.
That's the other side of the coin, man. It's like, I don't know, man. Is that almost like an ego stroke?
Oh,
I'm like, huh, I just fucked this bitch to death.
hey, man, have you heard the saying, give a bitch a stabbing?
Yeah.
Yeah, now it makes total sense.
What a great way to start the fucking podcast, dog. Good thing there's no feminists who listen to this shit, otherwise we'd get killed.
We I don't know, man. We might up in a jail cell sometime for this shit, dog.
Dude, I was
If
just
the rules tighten up, we're fucked. We're definitely hoping for a more liberal future, man. Otherwise, we might go to jail and shit. If the communism is coming back, it's all over, dog, for you and me. Tom, you're included.
I'm fucking in it now.
saying, Fred,
So what's going on, Doug? You're coming back from yoga and shit?
yo, I gotta drop.
Yeah.
I gotta drop this, man. I gotta put it on the podcast, man, because this is we were talking about last
Cult.
podcast about no some chicks some things that chicks do that it's like you shouldn't ever do this. Like we were saying, like you should learn how to cook and all these generic things, and like it's important, but it's not like it's not I'm not if I really like someone and all that, if you can't cook, it's not gonna end it. But check this out, man. These couple girls that were sitting out here in this fucking hostel, man. I was talking with them, and one of them, just for whatever reason, lifts up her arms to stretch out, and just fucking like Bushman armpit hair. And dude, it is that right there. I think is the fucking most disgusting thing on any chick, man. If you see her with armpit hair, it just makes me feel sick in my stomach. You know what I mean? I can't even explain it. Like if there's one single thing that turns me off the most that any chick can do, would be a fucking hairy armpits. Oh, had to air that out, man.
Yeah.
For all you chicks,
Yeah,
that shit.
you know,
It's natural, whatever. I don't buy that shit, man. I think caveman bitches were shaving that back in the day, man, because it just feels like if you're talking to a dude, man, 110%.
yeah, you know what my first thought used to be when I was a kid, even, man. Even if I was 12 years old, I would still be able to think of this, man. So whenever I saw like a friend of mine, a friend of mine, his mother, if I saw someone who had armpit hair, my first thought, bad sex life. Or non-existent sex life. Because that shit is unacceptable, baby.
Yeah.
Like,
I
yeah,
agree.
I'll be like fucking rolling around with the chick and she has armpit hair and you just don't instantly feel fucking sick or turned off or whatever, you know what I mean? It's just like, ugh.
Well, what about hair on the legs, man? Like, imagine back in the day, dog, especially with those Italians and shit, like dark hair all the way up to their thighs. It's probably hanging with the fucking pussy hair, dog. You're basically fucking an ape.
Yeah, man. The leg one's definitely bad too. The arm one, if it's just like on the arm, it's not so bad, but the leg one, like you don't want to be fucking rubbing your hand down some chick's leg and it feels like mine, where it's all like furry and shit. Oh man, that would be terrible. Like even just talking about it makes me fucking cringe, man. So that's 100% tip for any of you chicks out there. Most of you do it, but shave your armpits, shave your fucking legs. If you don't do that, that's a deal breaker right there, man.
And if it's not a deal breaker, you should find yourself a new man, because that guy's a freak.
Yeah.
You're a secret fucking homo.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the second one probably.
Yeah. It's good you got that shit off your chest, man, because that's important.
Yeah, I don't see it that much, but I mean, dude, get your fucking shit together, man. I mean, yeah, that's just unacceptable.
Yo, I know, one thing I could ask of you, dog. Next time you see a chick with armpit hair, and I'll do the same thing, if I remember. Or I'll do it, man. I'll do it. It's a little uncomfortable, but I'll fucking do it. So the next time we see a chick with armpit hair, you too, Tom, ask, why do you have that hair there? Like, why do you not shave? Why? What's in your mind? I want to know,
Do you really want to know though? Because I don't. That alone right there is enough of a fucking communication to saying I don't want nothing to do with this fucking bitch in any level, man. Friends, girlfriends, nothing, dog. Because if you're doing that, you're fucked in the head.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't need to be fucking Mr. Dr. Nick the psychologist behind here, man. Pretty simple as fuck, man. If you're doing that, something's fucked with you, man.
Yeah, man. I guess so. So
Mm.
yeah, when you start doing yoga, Tom?
About the start of this year,
Okay, okay.
not long after I got back from traveling.
So like, how much do you do it?
I'm doing it like twice a week at the moment, but I'll probably kick that up a little bit. I'm starting to get kind of more into it now.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
That's interesting, man. You don't strike me like the dude who does yoga, but that's what's beautiful about it, man.
Yeah, man. Well, it started out as kind of I don't know, man. I just kind of I'd done it before as part of like kind of a diverse kind of workout routine, just like once a week.
Yeah.
But like it's actually a pretty good fucking overall like workout. Like I've done a lot of different workouts. And I think this is like in terms of actual like functional strength and functional flexibility and kind of all around just like being a fucking functional human being who can actually use your strength or whatever to do things. I think it's pretty good. You see a lot of people who fucking lift a lot of weights and they're fucking on steroids or whatever, and they look fucking massive,
Yo,
fucking
Tom,
this or whatever,
I
and
don't
they
want to
have no
interrupt
actual
you, man.
like functional abilities.
I don't
What's
want to
up?
interrupt you too much, but turn off your camera for a second. The internet connection is kind of fucked up.
Okay.
So yeah, man, I would say I agree with that 100%, man. Because if you want to just take a simple way of measuring if you're in shape or not, it's your ability to move up and down from the floor. Like let's say you're lying on your belly. If you can
Mm.
move up quickly, that's a good indicator of you being in shape. And if you're on your back and you can get up quickly, it's another good way of just seeing if you're in shape or not. Because if you take a look at old people, that's a problem they have. They can't get off their fucking feet or off their ass.
Mm.
And and it's not all
Mm.
about like that lifting weights and shit is cool, and you look all muscular and badass, and you get a big fucking ego, I think, out of
Yeah.
out of lifting muscles. Like I have some friends who are bodybuilders and shit, and they basically think they're on top of the world, man, better than everyone else.
Mm.
And I don't know if it's just a coincidence, but I find it that some of those guys are always making trouble when they're out and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe it's got some to do with their confidence or something, but like the guys who get really big.
Yeah.
But in terms of like just being physical physically healthy, I don't
Mm.
think it's the best way, man. I would say
Yeah.
definitely yoga is a better way to go about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, and like it doesn't have to be yoga, but I think anything that's kind of like body weight, body weight focused, and like shit like rock climbing and stuff like that, I think would be pretty good as well. Um,
Absolutely.
but yeah, just anything that's kind of like more body weight focused and that kind of thing, and gets your entire body. Like I mean, for instance, like I feel like I'm definitely not the strongest that I've ever been, but like I'm strong in like real weird places that I never used to be. Like for instance, like my lower legs, like my fucking muscles in like my feet and like the front of my legs and shit are really strong, so I've got really good balance now.
Yeah.
Um, and like through the core and stuff as well, like through like the abs and stuff, like very very solid and balanced. And you learn how to use all those kind of like little tiny little muscles that most people never really even work out. Don't even really know they're even there, let alone know how to fucking work them out. So you get, yeah, like I say, you kind of get a better overall like whole body kind of strength from it.
Yeah, like I don't know, man, but we have this girl in the jiu-jitsu class who does yoga, and sometimes she's the instructor because she's really good. So during the warm-ups, like the stages, she does yoga stuff. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
not yoga, but it's like just like some parts of yoga and movements, and those things, man, are hard.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
and I feel like I realized I had another muscle somewhere around my ass. Like I never used that shit before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
man.
one of the things you notice when you start out, man. Because I mean, the class I go to is like at a university gym, so and it's pretty balanced between like girls and guys there. It's quite a lot of other
Okay.
guys there, but there's definitely a lot of girls there, and it's funny when you first start because you realize that a lot of these girls, like in terms of like their actual strength to their body weight, are like way stronger than you. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
they're doing these body weight moves, and you're like fucking falling on your ass, and they're all doing it perfectly, and you're like, oh shit, I'm not as strong as I thought I was. Man.
Yeah, one thing that is really important is I remember talking to a girl a couple of weeks ago, and she broke her back at a point. Like she basically fell down from a terrace or something, or what do you call it?
Mm-hmm.
And
Like a
basically,
balcony or
and she
something.
broke her back. It was like broken in
Yeah.
half and shit, real bad. And she had
Uh-huh.
been doing a lot of aerobic classes and yoga and stuff like that, which strengthens your core a lot, like
Mm-hmm.
your inner muscles,
Mm-hmm.
which you don't necessarily see them too much, but they're very important, like your hips and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
So if the doctor told her you're very lucky, because if you didn't do these things, like she'd been working out for years and she was really
Yeah.
strong. If she hadn't done that, she would have been unable to walk at this point.
Fuck.
And she was 25.
Yeah.
But now she's like, it's 1 year later, she's walking, she's all good, and she's slightly getting back into training.
That's cool, man. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think it's definitely useful from the point of view of not getting injured and stuff like that. You know, like I've had a few injuries. Like that was actually kind of one of the reasons why I started doing the yoga was because I had an old back injury. So I was kind of trying to strengthen up my back a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
That's the
but yeah,
same
I mean,
reason.
it's just in terms. What's that, man?
That's the same reason why I got into it was I had back injuries before, and
Mm.
then as I did it more and more, you started realizing like there's so many other benefits, mentally,
Mm.
physically, and just
Yeah,
like longevity as well. You just feel like if you do this for your whole life, you're definitely gonna live like 5, 6 years longer.
yeah, 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 man.
It's I'm not bashing on weightlifting in any way, but
Mm.
because I think that's good. It's way better than nothing, man, and you can definitely, like, if you do it the proper way, it's got a lot of
Mm.
benefits. But
Yeah,
never rule out yoga, man, just because
yeah,
it's a little gay. I remember talking to this old dude, like a friend of my father, and he had some back problems and some, like, various problems, man, just with different types of shit. And I told him, why don't you try out yoga?
mm.
Not for me. That's gay shit. That's for women. All that type of stuff, man. Which is totally retarded, man. Just
Yeah,
try a yoga fucking lesson for once.
yeah. Well, I mean
It's most.
that kind of like it's a symptom of a kind of a that's kind of a bigger thing there, where people can't like people have these judgments about things and they can't go and try it for themselves. They just kind of have to live through this secondhand judgment, that they've heard from, somewhere along the lines, and they're just like, oh, well, that's the deal with that, and they never even bother to get a first-hand experience of it.
Yeah. Yo, are you here?
Have we lost Nick?
I think we might have lost Nick, man. Yo, Nick. But you can
Yo,
still hear me, right?
Yeah, man. I got both, you know, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, but that exactly that thing, like misinformation, is causing a lot of problems, not only with
Yo, yo,
physical
yo,
stuff.
yo.
Yo, bitch, we're back.
Yo.
Uh, he's got some problems.
Oh shit.
Um, he's back.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yo.
Yo, man, you're back.
I'm back. Yeah, one thing that I did notice, a lot like the whole bodybuilding thing, man. I think there's a like a dark side of it that a lot of
Mm.
people don't see, and that's like the whole, over supplementing, drinking like
Yeah.
fucking 600 grams of protein powder a day,
Yeah.
steroids, and those guys end up getting injured.
Yeah, man, people end up getting injured, and yo,
Yo,
keep going, Doug.
yeah, and like a lot of the guys end up getting injured because they're lifting so much weight and like their joints can't handle it. So they
Mm.
like blow out their kneecaps and like really, really serious injuries. Then on the other side, like this one girl I was seeing a while ago was telling me that like these different guys that she was seeing that were like, bodybuilder type guys that lifting up, like they'd always be asking her shit like, "Oh, is my fucking bicep big enough?" Or always looking at like when they're alone, they're always looking at themselves in the mirror, and it was like however big they were was never enough, you know?
Mm.
Even though they
Mm.
looked big, it was never enough. It was like they always felt inadequate about it. And I think that's how a lot of those dudes end up getting because there's always someone bigger than you and they're just like,
Yeah, I think, fuck, man, like a lot of that shit
yo,
a lot of that shit probably stems from just really bad confidence, and that might be the reason they get into it at the first place, or in the first place, and then they realize after a year or two doing it, they never did any work on their mind. Like they didn't try and improve their self confidence. They only did it with getting bigger and looking more sexy and shit, which deeply down doesn't really help at all. You gotta have that love for yourself, which does
Mm.
not come from having big muscles.
Mhm. Because I mean, like in practical applications, unless you want to be a bodybuilder, there's no real reason why you should get that big. It's just there's not unless you want to do bodybuilding, there's no real practical application of
Mm.
getting that big. Just besides kind of like, oh look, I'm room or I'm like your actual image of it. There's not many health benefits to it. It could actually be bad for your health because your body isn't meant to support that much mass and all that stuff. So it's like the actual practical benefits are pretty small. It's more of just the benefit of like how you look
Mm.
and what you're gonna look like with your fucking shirt off or at the beach or whatever.
Well, at, at the same point though, it is like kind of like, I wouldn't say stop bodybuilding if that's what you like. Like, if some people love doing the exercises and love just the whole thing, man. And I wouldn't stop just because, like, we don't fucking, like, there's other things that might have more benefits, like yoga or yeah, like, yeah, man. For example, you take jujitsu, man. What is the benefits of jujitsu? You get good at fighting, but that's it, man. And I guess you look a little better, but like the core reason for doing it is like you enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
Like that's what you love to do, man. And I think whatever that is for
Yo,
people, they gotta be able to do it. Like if you love bodybuilding, you fucking do bodybuilding.
Yeah.
You love running, you go fucking run, dog. Do whatever you like to do. But one thing I would say, man, if I were to lead a tribe somewhere and I was fucking the master, one thing I would say to everybody if I were to make some rules is, dog, you gotta take care of your body.
Mm.
And the fucking, where the fuck are you, Nick, man? I can hear you go away.
yeah, I keep going in and out, man. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, Tom, can
But
you
I just
like
think it's
do you
like, I don't
feel
know,
some?
I just feel like a lot of there's so much stuff out there about health and fitness. Like a lot of people don't really know what to believe, you know?
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, of course. But and I don't think I can give you the fucking answers at all, man. But at least keep in shape.
Yeah, let me
Mm.
restart this Skype shit, man. I wanna, maybe that'll help. All
Okay.
right?
All right.
Yeah.
So I'll be back.
Yeah. But well, Tom, what do you feel like? Has there been any? Could you feel any benefits of starting yoga, like on a regular basis?
Um, yeah, kind of physically, I think definitely. I was in pretty bad fucking shape when I got back from traveling because when I was traveling, I pretty much wasn't doing any kind of working out, and I was just eating like total shit. Um, so yeah, there's definitely been that side. Um, but yeah, definitely some mental benefits as well. You know, just like I don't know, just kind of I think it helps you to detach a little bit, and just kind of remind yourself that all these kind of day to day things that maybe you get a little bit kind of caught up in are really kind of not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. You know, I think we tend to exaggerate the importance of a lot of what we're dealing with on a day to day basis. You know. So it's I think it's good from that perspective to kind of it's like a little it's like a little kind of disconnect from that to just step back from everything, you know.
Yeah. That's funny, man. I wonder, man, if like you're a pretty fucking smart guy. So I wonder if like people who are total idiots,
Mm,
if they ever think about this stuff, because I pretty much doubt they do, man.
Yo,
mm, yo,
But yeah, yo,
yeah,
man. But I guess it's like you probably had that in you somewhere, like you picked it up somewhere, and then the yoga is helping express that.
yeah. I guess I've been kind of conscious of that kind of stuff for quite a while. It just this is kind of a good I think it's a good. As far as I'm concerned, what the whole yoga thing is, is like it's all these kind of moves and all these postures that are designed to bring the focus of your mind into your muscles, right? So you stop focusing on all that kind of bullshit that normally your mind focuses on. So it kind of, it's a, this shit's been developed over thousands of years, So the people who kind of came up with it, they had a very specific idea of, you know, what your mind's supposed to start doing as you do these poses and, you're controlling your breath and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, one thing you can say about yoga, man, it's not bullshit because it's been
Mm,
used for thousands of years.
mm, mm. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's most definitely interesting, man.
The way I look at it, like at the core, it's definitely not bullshit. I think it's kind of being used in some bullshit ways a little bit as it's kind of become more popular in Western culture. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of got this and I think this is where the kind of reputation of it being a little bit gay and that kind of thing comes from. So that it's kind of it's represented as being like fucking Pilates or some shit, like that girls do if they want to have fucking longer legs or something, you know what I mean? Like, it's given this reputation that's very, focused on stuff like physical appearance, like, oh, you're going to have better butt cheeks if you do yoga and shit like this, you know what I mean? So it kind of cheapens the kind of original roots of what it's supposed to be. Um, and I think that happens with a lot of stuff that kind of comes from, Eastern philosophy or anything like that, when it kind of comes into that very materialistic kind of Western society, it kind of turns into a product, and it gets like filtered through these values, these kind of materialistic values, where something only has value if it kind of makes you money or it makes you fucking look better to the fucking opposite sex or whatever. It's all this very kind of base, kind of animalistic kind of thing. So you get these things that are really, built off a kind of a deeper, have a bit of a deeper meaning, and they get turned into something a little bit that's kind of like spiritually cheaper than what it was originally supposed to be.
Yeah, man. Like I don't know, man. But the Western world always focuses on attaining stuff. Yo, Nick, man. Fuck. I'm gonna write him a little message, man. Go somewhere quiet. Maybe restart comp PC. Yeah. Sorry about that shit,
That's
man.
cool, man. It's all good.
Even though, this is kind of a bad time to bring it up, but what we're doing here is kind of amazing, man. Like Nick is in Thailand, you're in New Zealand, and I'm in Norway, and we're almost having a conversation. Like you and me are, but Nick, I don't know about that guy right now. Earlier on, though, it was in. But yeah, man, yoga, that shit it's good for you, man. And I think I think it's pretty, everybody should be doing yoga, man. I don't do yoga, but in the morning when I wake up, the first thing I'll do, I'll set my timer on for 10, 15 minutes. And, I don't know yoga, but I'll do some stretching. Like, I'll stretch my back, I'll stretch my thighs and stomach, all that type of shit, man. Legs. And, I'm not all the time, but sometimes I'm, like, pretty fucking tired. And, I'll be sleepy, but I'll do the yoga thing and I'll just get a little more into my body. Like, sometimes you're, like, the same with meditation, man. Like, so much of your focus and energy is based on your mind and the thinking part. But when you do something like maybe focus on your breathing or focus on just the feelings of your body, which is pretty crucial in yoga and stretching, I guess, it's like you shift your focus and your mind kind of gets to rest, which I think is very important.
Yeah. I mean, I think most people, I would say, don't ever really stop to think about, or like shift their attention into their kind of their body. Their body is basically like, to them, is just a fucking little vehicle that carries their little self around, you know what I mean? And they never really stop to think about what it is. And, they kind of, you think about people who just kind of, all they eat is like, they just eat things that like taste good. They don't give a shit about nutrition or anything like that. So their body is just kind of this little, machine for like, like these like kind of artificial peak experiences. You know what I mean? Like, you think about fucking like eating a slice of pizza or fucking eating a little, jelly cream donut or something like that. It's like a little way of tricking your brain into thinking that you're having a peak experience.
Yeah, it's like the lowest form of happiness consumed. But I think people who aren't conscious of their body and shit like that and of their mind, like they don't even know that their mind is not, like, their thinking is not all them. Like, they don't even know this shit. So I don't even think they think about their body as a meat vehicle, because that's kind of the way I look at it. I look at my body as a fucking car. You want to give your car cheap gas, cheap oil, and cheap shit, or do you want to give it the best fucking shit and treat it like a goddamn Ferrari? I think people who aren't conscious of this shit, they don't even think about it. They just, they're too caught up with thinking about other shit, like other problems, their life, thinking about themselves too much, like, oh, this and that, and they don't ever get the time to really sit down and just, fuck, man, this is the best, fucking experience ever, man. I got a mind, and I got a fucking beat vehicle, and I can do
Mm.
whatever the fuck I want, man.
Mm.
And something that struck me yesterday, man, is like I was doing like an hour and a half meditation,
Mm-hmm.
and and I was just laying there, I was pretty conscious, and I was feeling my body, man, and the feelings in my body were kind of overwhelming. Like I had to step out of it a couple of times because it was just like tingling and almost not uncomfortable, but just like intense, I would say.
Mm.
Because my mind was rested. I didn't think too much. And so only just the feeling of being connected somewhat to your body is very intense. And unless you're like really accustomed and used to feeling it, I think you're gonna like, that's why it probably takes some time with the meditation before you get good, and with the yoga as well, man.
Mm.
Like normal people who don't do this shit, they aren't accustomed to it, and as soon as they get into it, they might freak out and quit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so did Freddie tell you what he's doing today?
No.
I'm fasting, dog.
Ah,
You want
okay.
I'm doing a
Tell me
fast.
about that.
Well, basically, man, I got the idea from a guy named uh Sam Maxwell or something. Something Maxwell. I don't remember. Steve Maxwell. Yeah, that's it. And basically he says like your body uses a lot of energy and stuff like that on the bowel system, like just processing food and that stuff. So if you're a little sick, for example, the best thing you can do is stop eating for like 24 hours, because that's gonna give your body energy with like your immune system and other things, man. Yo, Nick.
tell you, dog, I'm always on the move, man. I'm trying to find a good connection somewhere.
Okay, man. Yeah, well, and that's basically the idea behind it, man. Like when I was thinking about that shit, I was like, man, my fucking bowel system is not rested for my whole life. Like I'm constantly eating. I always loved eating. I'm a fat man at heart, and I gotta take a rest from eating from time to time. So I was just going to test it out today, or actually a month ago, man. But I've been fucking up. I've been eating, I forgot about it, I got hungover, shit like that. So today was the perfect day. And yeah, I just want to test it out, and I think it's healthy for you, man. Like you shouldn't be eating all your life. Why not take a break, dog?
Yeah, man. I mean, I guess it makes sense that, if you look at from kind of the evolution perspective,
Yeah.
when the human body was kind of formed into what it is, we wouldn't have been eating like 3 meals a day regularly every single day.
No,
So it
most
does make
definitely
sense.
not, man.
Mm.
Well, I guess it would be like probably some days we would eat like all day and have a abundance of food and stuff,
Mm.
but at other times, we might not eat for 3 fucking days
Mm.
or something
Mm.
like that.
Mm.
And it's probably meant to be like that, you know?
Mm.
Like the thing about, for example, the thing about working out, which people don't like, is because, like, if you take a look at all the other aspects which are good for survival, like sex, love, and all these good eating, feels fantastic. It's like it's got a good, it's triggering your happiness when you're doing it, and
Mm.
you get excited about doing it
Mm.
because it's like all good all the way.
Mm.
But if you take a look at working out, like you exercising,
Mm.
it doesn't have any of that shit, and that's because before or earlier, like back in the day, that would be necessary for us to be able to even have food or, you
Mm.
know, whatever it is, man, fight off lions and shit. It would just be like a totally default thing, man. Like,
Mm.
there's no way around it. But
Mm.
nowadays, there are tons of way around it. Like, you can have potato chips in your fucking house and food, you know,
Yeah.
in your fridge and all that shit. So, you know, the exercise thing is something you have to take on your own.
Mm.
You know, it's like, does that make sense to you? Like, I think that's one
Yeah.
of the ways it isn't, it doesn't have any good triggers about it. Well, it does after you've done it, but you
Mm.
gotta put in the work first.
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I mean, it's one of those things that would never, you know, the only reason it's something that we have to like consciously be like, I'm going to go to the gym and do this is because it's like, is because of this whole fucking like office culture that we have now, you know, where people just sit around all day, or like, you fucking, most of your work is just sitting around, and then like most of your leisure time for most people is sitting around. Like most people fucking just watch TV when they come home.
yeah.
You know, which is like, you know, when you were fucking living in the tribe or whatever. I mean, before you had farming and stuff like that. I mean, if you want to even go back that far, which is kind of, we've still got the same bodies essentially from before farming was developed. But you know, humans used to migrate all the time, so you weren't even fucking living in one place. You were just walking around all the fucking time, you know.
Yeah.
With, you know, without even fucking, you know, chasing lions or any shit, or like fighting off lions or chasing fucking deer or anything like that. You were just you were walking a lot, like every fucking day, you know. So um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right, man. Pointing that out is important. And I think, like, the most recent thing I heard, it's not like any big news or anything. It's just that I heard it and got conscious of it the other day. It's like people back in, like, at those times with the tribes and all, we would move around a lot.
Mm.
But one thing that the guy that like they would probably have a day like this, like a lot of walking, like, or just moving around, you
Mm.
know, a lot of like, and a lot of sitting down as well and laying down, like resting is very important as well. Like sleeping and also resting during the day.
Yeah.
And then you would have other days, like that would be like a normal day. Like you would walk around a lot and
Mm.
maybe lift some shit and do some work, and like that would be like an hour or two of working out, maybe with
Mm.
weights or whatever, maybe with stretching. I don't know, when you do like outside work, like in the woods, like there's a lot of, you know, you use a lot of muscles that you don't
Mm.
use in the weightlifting or
Mm.
with the weightlifting, because then it's very static, you know,
Mm.
it's up and down, back and forth, you know, one
Mm.
position. So you would do that, like some working out and mostly walking around and laying down and having sex as well, man.
Mm.
And at other times you would be running around chasing a fucking deer, throwing spears, throwing rocks, jumping up and down, climbing up fucking trees and doing all kinds of weird shit.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
So I think a good answer to it is, like, if you want to be living healthy, you should be, you know, eating clean and moving around a lot every day. Like, never be sitting down for 8 hours a day. Like, if you sit down for, like, let's say 8 hours or 10 hours, working out for 2 hours is not gonna help that, or it's gonna help, but it's not gonna fix the problem. You need to be not moving around all the time. But let's say, you know, you work on your business.
Mm.
One thing you could do is sit down for an hour and then get up 10 minutes, walk around, maybe just do a little 10 squats or whatever,
Mhm.
and then sit down again,
Mhm.
you know, and do that throughout the whole day.
Mm. Mm.
Like, that's a pretty simple solution, man. And sometimes you should do the yoga. Sometimes you should do some heavy stuff,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
Just vary it up. You don't have to every day be fucking hammering it out
Yeah.
with working out. Just be moving a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Mm.
Uh, so yeah, but yeah, man, it's like one thing I see with people now, or I never saw it before because I'm not fucking old enough. But I think, if I were to be like 40 or 50,
Mm.
like, I talk to a lot of smart people like yourself and Nick and stuff. And one thing that struck me, and I listen to a lot of different kind of podcasts as well, and
Mm-hmm.
all the smart people in the world, which I think is the difference now. Like you would have a business owner back in the day, and he would be really smart in business in certain aspects. But now you see people who are smart in business, for example, or
Mm.
smart in any area, and they're always, like, if they're really smart, they're always focusing on working out or eating
Mm.
healthy. Those things should become we're very conscious of it. So that's a
Mm.
great thing, man.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, any really smart person realizes that the body is important.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, man. I mean, I think and that there's a lot of people who kind of sacrifice that to chase whatever else they think is important, and then they kind of end up regretting it later on. They're like, oh shit, I'm fucking 50 now and I'm fat and I'm fucking gonna have a heart attack and all that kind of shit. And it's like you kind of get caught up in thinking that these other goals that you're chasing are worth the sacrifice, and they're really kind of not.
Yeah, most definitely, man. It's I think that's true too, man. It's like, why not start right away?
Mm.
Uh, and yeah, I've heard, you shouldn't focus on too much at a time.
Mm.
Like, if you want to start a business, like, let's say you're fat as fuck,
Mm.
unhealthy, you eat shit, and you're just fat as fuck, man.
Mm.
And also, you want to start a business, like, you want to get out of your office job, or you want to do something for yourself.
Mm.
What would you say, man? Would you start with both, or would you take one before the other?
Well, I mean, with that kind of thing, I feel like the fitness one is kind of it's I feel like that's kind of an exception, because I feel like that's something that should be done always, like no matter, like that's a fucking like like a requirement, like if it was something like, oh, am I gonna start a business first, or am I gonna learn the guitar or something? If it was two kind of skill sets like that you wanted to learn,
Yeah,
then yeah, then it would be like you just do one or the other. Don't try to do both at the same time. But when it's like fitness and like starting a business, because being in good shape is gonna like make everything else so much easier, because like when you're healthy and shit, your brain is more focused and stuff like that. So I think, like, yeah, so if it was someone who's like fat as fuck or whatever and they want to start a business, then, they can go ahead and focus on the business. But as long as there's like at least a moderate kind of attempt to start getting in shape at the same time, like those are two things that I really feel should be done. Should be like, if you're going to start a business and you're not in shape, you should be working on that as well. And that's kind of one of the exceptions. When you're trying to build a new skill set. Other than that, I think definitely like full focus on whatever the main skill set you want to acquire is the way to go. But yeah, like I said, just because the physical health thing is such a booster to everything else you're trying to do, I feel like that should be included, like, without question. Like it's just a requirement.
yeah, yeah. That's probably the best answer, man.
Mm.
Definitely.
Mm. Mm.
Plus, if you're a fat fuck, man, I mean, it doesn't matter how much money you make. You're gonna be dead before you can spend it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Another good.
There's a million things on that aspect. There's a million things on that aspect. I mean, money doesn't improve the quality of your life that much compared to your
Yeah.
health. Health can
Yeah.
improve the quality of your life way more. It's just Yeah, I don't really get that. I don't know. Maybe it's because I just never had a problem with that, but I just don't understand how people get 300, 400 pounds, like, without being
Mm.
aware of it at one point. Like, once you hit, like, 250, 300 pounds, how
Yeah.
the fuck can you not realize that, like, oh shit, I need to stop this now?
Yeah. Yeah.
The power of habit, man.
Mm. Mm.
Probably.
I think it's just that whole thing of, like, selective hearing, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
it's just like, it's one thing to be all, oh, yeah, it's all good, blah, blah, blah. And it's one thing to just, kind of block out with whatever these positive reaffirmations that things are shit when really you're fucking killing yourself, man. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You're really
Yeah.
on your way to an early grave and just sitting there being like, oh, it's no big deal, oh, blah, 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 and all that shit. It's like, I don't know, man. It's not good in that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would even, yeah, I think, Tom gave the best answer, but if I really was to like make a decision, man, I don't know, maybe health would come first. Because if you ask any person who's really been sick, like if they got cancer, if they get hit by a car, or if they die of a heart attack or whatever it is, man, like something that almost killed them, they always like, oh shit, man, they always focus on health.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that is the number one priority. You can have $1 million fucking bucks in the bank, man, but
Yeah.
if your heart stops working, what good is it gonna do you?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and always, like, and you can also, if let's say you're 30, you're fat as fuck and you're sick of your job, man. You can't take it anymore.
Mm.
Well, maybe you should get another job for a fucking year or so and just focus intensely on your health.
Mm.
Like just focus badly. Like chances are you never did that before. You never took a year off or 18 months and just focused on one thing and worked your
Mm.
fucking ass up to attain it. So
Mm.
there's gonna be some learning in just doing that.
Mm.
And then you can apply those things to business. Like I know Arnold Schwarzenegger says everything he learned like later on with whether that be his acting career or his like being a governor and like he did a lot of business too, man, like real
Mm.
estate and stuff. And he says everything he does, he just applies what he's doing with the working out, which is
Mm.
basically, man, just hard fucking work.
Mm.
And that's something I've been realizing lately, man. Me and Nick, we don't need to mention it too much on the podcast, but we've been talking about some SSM stuff coming up lately,
Mhm.
and one thing I was thinking, man, is like, you know what, man? I've been a retard, man, because I'm pretty much like I grew up with my parents always teaching me if you ever want to do something, you got to put in the hours, you got to work hard. Nothing comes from itself, man,
Mm.
and that is the hard fact of life, man. If you want to do something, you got to fucking work like hard.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any shortcuts in life.
Mm. And
So learn.
that's actually it's quite a big advantage once you realize that in terms of the business stuff, because what you realize is as well that you know, it's so there's so many people out there who are looking for the fucking this quick fix, no work solution that doesn't exist. So while these people are all out there wasting their fucking energy trying to find the magic bullet, find the fucking, the shortcut, if you're the one that's fucking prepared to be like, I'm gonna just outwork everybody, then you're gonna win, basically.
Yeah, yeah, that's yeah, good stuff.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, man. To be honest with you, man, I've been kind of having the mentality of like, eh, not fuck my parents, but like, yeah, maybe there is a way to do this a simple way,
Mm.
and I've been kind of surrounded with people thinking the same thing. I
Yeah.
guess.
Think
Yeah.
I fixed this shit though. Had these guys
Oh, good.
restart it. Restart the
Oh,
game.
great. Good. Yeah. Also, I was just saying, like, but lately, like, it kind of like basically after Nick and I spoke the other day, man, it kind of like, oh shit, man, I need to open my mind up for some new stuff, and realizing that the only way I'll ever succeed is if I work my ass off, man, and stop this dreamy kind of fucking thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean,
man.
it's a good realization to have, man, because after you have that, you know, things, I mean, you know, I wouldn't say become easier, but, you know, like I say, because most people, you know, if you think, you know, you think in business terms, you know, it's a competition effectively. So, you know, if you think about you're in a fucking running race or something like that, if fucking, you know, you're in a running race with fucking 7 other guys and 6 of them are fucking, you know, instead of training, they fucking spent like the last 2 months looking for a fucking magic pair of shoes to help them win the race. And you've been training your ass off. You know, you're in a race with 7 other guys, but really only one of them is a fucking real competitor because the other 6 have been fucking around looking for, basically trying to cheat. And that doesn't really work. So, it's a fucking, yeah, it's pretty interesting to realize that, you know, the competition that you're up against there's really not that much competition that's kind of, you know, prepared to, you know, be the workhorse and fucking work their ass off, you know. So once you realize that and you're prepared to do that, it gives you a much more realistic, look at what you're up against, you know.
Yeah, I would say so, man. I'm just gonna give me a second here. Nick is.
Yeah, I'm here,
dog. Okay, man. I'm being confused over here, dog. Sorry.
Yeah,
and the text is just like,
too,
yo,
man.
invite me. Yo, invite me. Yo, invite
Yeah.
me. Yo, invite me.
These dudes restarted the router, so I think it's all good now. They were
Cool.
fucked up. So
Cool.
Okay. But if you really I like if you think about it, both you guys, like anything you ever accomplish, like if you were to get it for free, would it be worth it? Like
that
honestly,
depends on what you're talking about.
like yeah, I guess so, man. But if you got a goal, like let's say you got a goal of whatever it is, and then some guy comes up to you, man, and just says, okay, I'll get, like, let's say you want to start a business, and then someone comes up to you and says, okay, I'll give it to you, man. I'll give you all the answers. I'll give you my business and whatever it is, man. And you just start making like, you know, maybe that's a bad example, but I think, you know, appreciation is pretty important. And you don't get that unless you do the work.
I think there's a lot of ways, you know, to get it also. I mean, it's like if you were poor your entire fucking life and just ate fucking rice or some shit till you were 25 and then, you know, someone gave you money, you probably appreciate it more that way, you know, but I think definitely in like our societies, more first world countries is the whole idea of appreciation doesn't even exist, you know? And nobody really appreciates anything at all. You know, in reality, like most people don't ever like just, oh fuck, thank God you know, my phone works, you know, thank God I fucking got out of bed. Thank God I don't have a fucking brain tumor, you know, thank God I can fucking drive 100 miles an hour anywhere I want. You know, nobody, you know, I think it's important for our societies, but I think there's other ways you can be appreciative of things, but just the way we grow up is so much of like, give me, give me, give me, I deserve this, I deserve that, when really we already have, you know, more than 99% of the fucking planet.
Yeah.
The top 0.006% of of the richest people on the planet.
Well, I totally agree with that, man. And I can say, like for myself, I basically spend my entire life not appreciating stuff.
Yeah.
And that's fucking the truth right there, man. Like, but one thing, like yesterday, man, I sent out a text message, and and then I did like a meditation. You know, like 40 minutes. I would have a little break, And I took a look at my text message, man, and I picked up my phone, and I'm like, fuck. I basically have all the information in the world in my fucking hands right now. I can call people, I can send them a message, I can do whatever fuck I want, and this is the goddamn coolest thing I ever fucking had in my hand. And I got that shit every day, dog. That's my thoughts yesterday, man. And that's appreciation, man. Like, I was just getting excited about this phone, even though it's just a phone. It's a fucking cell phone, dog. You can call people right now, dog. We're talking here. Where are you at, Tom?
Yeah, man. Like, yeah, I think it's that whole appreciation thing is something you really have to kind of train yourself on almost, because I think the way we're kind of, the way we're brought up and the way we're kind of, we always have these messages coming in, like the news is always so fucking negative, and it's always like, oh, worry about this and worry about this. And, you grow up and you're like going to school and it's like, fuck, I've got to worry about my exams. And then you fucking got to worry about getting into university, and then you got to worry about getting a job, and then you got to worry about what your fucking boss is going to make you do next week. And it's just all this constantly, you just constantly just being bombarded with things to worry about, you know what I mean? And it keeps people in this very kind of like this, almost like this state of like fear, fucking hysteria, so that's why people kind of come home and just fucking sit in front of the TV and just like switch their brain off because it's too much for them. But yeah, I mean, I think you have to cultivate that. You just have to sit back and be like, I'm a young white male in a fucking Western democracy. Like, shit does not get better than this. Like, this is it, man. Like, you don't have problems, man. Like, you do not have a fucking problem that you can't solve on your own, But yeah.
Young
That's
white
a
male,
funny way
dog.
of looking at it.
Young white male.
Like there's fucking like we are the richest, like, if you want to not just talk about riches in terms of fucking money in the bank, but in terms of time, in terms of youth, in terms of the shit that we can do, we are the fucking richest people, like naturally the richest people on the planet right now,
Yeah.
Ever lived, man. Whoever lived.
Yeah.
That I love hearing that shit, man. It's like, yeah, it's just like, man, we should recognize how lucky we are.
Yeah, man, it's a bit of perspective, But isn't it interesting, how even, when you sit back and look at it logically like that, you're like, yeah, that's fucking true. And yet everyone walks around every fucking day thinking that life sucks so bad, and everyone's in this completely fucking like little like caved in negative little fucking headspace, It's interesting.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why I really like just really rugged traveling really fucking cheap, because it makes you appreciate those things. Like the first time I traveled, there's a couple times where I'd just sleep, outside a train station or on the street, and like, or when I went to like Norway the first time before I knew Freddie, it was so expensive. I just ate tuna for like a week, only tuna. And dude, that experience alone right there made me appreciate food so much more. Whereas before, like I was like, oh yeah, whatever. But then you eat fucking tuna for a week, and dude, you just every time you have any other meal after that, you really appreciate all the flavors to it, and like it's when you deprive yourself of all those things is when you really appreciate it. And I think that should be like a standard for especially people like growing up in a first world country, like whether you're 13 or 14, but just instead of like a summer camp where you fucking go swimming, it's just like a week where you just don't get all the shit you usually get. You just get fed like fucking rice or just something like that poor people eat, like the cheapest food for like a week. And then that's really what makes you appreciate it, is like when you lose something is when you actually fucking appreciate it. It's, and unless you have that, it's kind of hard if you've never not had it, to really appreciate it, because it's normal. It's the standard. It's like just what you're used to.
Yeah.
Most definitely, man. It's like, yeah, why not go a fucking day without eating, man?
Yo,
Like,
Freddie,
why
you
not
still got a
go?
ways to go, dog.
Yeah, man, I'll update you next fucking week or somewhere between the line if I made it or not. But I know I'll make it.
Yeah, we'll see,
And
dog.
and and maybe take a weekend of camping. You know, toughen up a little
Mm,
bit. Like
mm,
Ty Lopez says, toughen the fuck up. You know, go out without your cell phone. You
mm.
know,
Yeah, but
maybe go a week without spending any money.
is that fucking what it's come to, man? Toughen up, go a week without your cell phone? Is that fucking
Maybe,
tough?
man.
Is that toughening up nowadays? Go a week without your cell phone? Toughen up.
Then you'll be a
What
real man.
choice is that, man? Then you
Try
be
being a real man.
toughen up.
Well, you know,
Go a week without your cell phone.
Don't log into Facebook for 3 days, and then you'll be a real man.
Toughen up.
oh fuck, man, that is pathetic.
But I mean, it also kind of makes you realize that, whatever we're supposed to be heading towards, the fact of having all the knowledge in the world or the easiest life and the most convenience is obviously not the fucking way to make you happy long term
Mm,
and
mm,
make us grow as like a civilization. It's I think it's more an increasing, the quality of who you are and like becoming more caring and loving and giving to people. I think that's the way. It's obviously not learning
mm,
all this shit because we, like said, we have access to all the information on the planet, yet people are just still frustrated and all this, more than ever. It's not about being smart and it's not about learning all these things. It's just more about, you know, being a fucking good person. And
Yeah,
it's
definitely,
just
man.
like,
And
and how could it be more obvious nowadays? You have all the
mm,
information in the world in your hand, and people
mm.
complain more and now are more miserable than fucking most other times, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just like, it's not about learning shit. It's not about, the intellectual pursuit. It's more about the more of a being level pursuit of how you are and how you think and how you treat people and how you view yourself. Are you like, do you deserve all these things? Are you so important? Or is it like, I'm just one other person, just like everybody else, trying to do the best that I can. And, everyone else has problems just like me. And, I should help them out if I can. And when you're in that
Mm,
space, it's just so much more, you're just generally so much more satisfied. But it's when you're trying to,
mm,
you feel like you deserve all this stuff and you're this big, more important thing, then you don't get that stuff and then you're all frustrated. Like, I deserve to, like this guy
I
I
gotta
was talking
check
to
some.
earlier he was booking a flight and he's like, fuck man, the internet's not working. This is a pain in the ass, blah, blah. And I'm like, so you were given the gift of being able to book a flight anywhere in the world in less than 2 minutes. You were given that gift. But when it doesn't work sometimes, you fucking complain like it's the end of the world. It's like that's all in that appreciation thing, It's like you were given the gift to book a flight anywhere in the world in 2 minutes, and then when that is kind of taken away, you complain and pout like you fucking deserve to have that at any point in your life, It's just like this whole level of entitlement and like you just feel like you deserve people should treat me one way, people shouldn't talk to me like that. And it's just
mm,
like really kind of get that out of the way, everything becomes good because you're not expecting it to be a certain way and you don't feel like you should be treated this way. And then all the things that happen to you, which 95% you don't have control over, are just, good and positive because they're just different things that you can experience. And it's not about, it has to be this, this one way or whatever.
mm,
Yeah,
mm.
like that is the definition of a fucking Momo, man. A dude in the airport fucking complaining about his flight being an hour late. And he has to, man, like entitlement is the sucker's reality, like, or a state of mind. Like when you feel entitled to everything, and I certainly fucking feel entitled to some shit, man, and I am a loser at some level, but I'm trying to work on it at least, you know?
Yeah, but
But
yeah, that's true, man. One thing I like to think is like, is just that nobody has to do anything for me. You know what I mean? There's no reason why anybody should do anything to help me out. There's no benefit to them. There's no reason why anyone should even give me fucking directions or, smile at me or there's no reason why. But people do it, and the fact they just do it, it's like it's just like it's a fucking gift in itself, It's like nobody has to do this stuff. Like you guys don't have to come on this podcast and fucking talk shit and hang out with me, but you do it, and that alone right there, I'm like, fuck, thank God these guys are like, they just like talking to me and like hanging out with me and like having a good time. It's like you guys don't have to. You can go do anything else you want, but the fact that people do and choose to, it's fucking awesome. You're just like, oh fuck yeah, man, like. People are nice because they don't have to fucking, help you. So then anytime any little thing happens, you're like, oh, that was awesome. That person took the time out of their day to talk to me or do this or that. They didn't have to, but they just wanted to.
Yeah. Like appreciating your friends and stuff too, man.
Yeah.
It's appreciating the fact that you fucking woke up, man, Some people go to sleep and they don't even wake up. The fact that you can walk, the fact that your fucking dick works, the fact that you got a dick, the fact that you can shit without blood coming out your ass, man.
Yeah.
I don't know why that one came out, but hey, it did.
That's a good way to look at it.
The more shit I get and the more things that whatever I accomplish, just the more and more I realize that I already have everything I need, man. It's like the more money I make or the more places I go or the more cool experiences I have, it's just like that's not the end all be all, it's just something that happens and everything is just something that happens. It's like that's how you deal with it and your choices you make is what's fucking important. It's not the things that happen, it's how you react to it that's really important.
Yeah. That is fucking true, man. I remember one thing you said to me. I don't remember exactly why you said it, but I think you had something going on with your health, like some issues, Nick. And I think it was you said it, man. Like after going through that and surviving it and being all good, it was like every day from now on is a bonus day. And I like that word, bonus day.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, I could have been gone. I could have died or whatever, man. But every day I get now is like a bonus day.
Yeah.
Which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think that was Chris Ryan, man, in that story he told where he almost died by getting stung by a scorpion.
Maybe you and I spoke about it and I somehow lost a connection. Well, anyways, man, still a fucking interesting way of looking at it, though.
I think you said that on The Sopranos as well. After Tony Soprano got shot, you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Like every day is a gift.
Yeah, I remember him saying that. He probably went back to being a miserable fuck, though.
Yeah.
Dude, yesterday I was taking the bus to this festival, and I was talking to this German dude next to me, and he was like, I don't know, wanted to be a doctor, and we're just talking about like shit he's seen in the emergency room, and then I don't know, I just told him that part of my family was from like Sicily or whatever, and his face got like kind of like this neutral, serious look, and he's like, I have to ask you something. Like, what? He's like, is any of your family associated with the mafia? But he said it's so fucking serious, and man, like a serious / cautious way of asking. Just like, not my close ones, man. It is kind of weird though, the whole fucking mafia thing, man. Like there was in my grandpa's side of the family, he's from Ohio and Cleveland, and like where he grew up in that part of Cleveland was like that whole area of the city was only Italians, and his family owned like a butcher shop but he did have like a couple cousins that, like I think it was my mom was telling me or whatever, that I'm pretty sure that they were, heavily associated with the, the Ohio or Cleveland Mafia, whatever it was, because she was saying that one of their sister one time had this boyfriend, and the guy, I guess, like beat her up one time, and her brothers were the guys that were like, mafia associated, and they're like, you bet, like I said, they said to him, like, don't ever, we don't want to ever see that again. And the guy ended up doing it again, and nobody's heard from the dude since. And one of these cats, like, the dude just eats his steak like practically fucking raw. And like, I never really met these guys, but they're kind of, my grandpa's cousins or whatever, and it was just one of those things that nobody really talked about, but everybody kind of knew.
Yeah.
Fucking
Fucking
shit.
gangsters. I used to be obsessed with gangsters, man. Like when I was 13, I would watch every fucking mafia movie out there, man. I watched all of Sopranos, like everything, man. It's got a like, it's something just cool about it, man. Like,
Yeah, I think
they're,
for dudes, it's definitely like, oh, that's badass,
yeah, they're basically
Don't take
like
shit from nobody,
criminals.
you know.
Yeah, but if you take a look at their actions, man, they're basically, they're assholes,
Mm.
criminals. They're not good for society, but they do it with such a fucking style that it's kind of accepted. Not accepted, but it's looked at as cool. If you have
Mm.
like a shitty fucking, dude who's just a fucking doesn't have any class and do those same things, you look at it from another angle. But because they have such like finesse about them, like they have cool clothes, they have a certain way of walking and talking and all that shit, you kind of justify it. It's like, oh, it's so fucking cool. I gotta let it slide.
Yeah.
Oh,
One of the things that always appealed about it to me as well was like they have their own little there's like their own little code, you know what I mean? And it's like even though it's kind of it's outside or it kind of runs parallel to like the law of the wider society, they have their own this own little code of honor, like and it doesn't always get followed, but there's this code of honor, like you don't fucking snitch on your friends and like all this, there's all these little kind of rules there,
yeah, yeah, they're
Yeah,
kind they are.
the original Mafia, it was called. I mean, how it started basically was like in Sicily. It was all that island was always taken over
Mm.
by all these different countries like Turkey, North Africa, Spain, all these different things. And Italy basically just said, we're not going to protect you. We're not going to, they just let it all happen. They kind of viewed Sicily as not part of Italy. And then in the early 1900s, they basically said, fuck this shit. We're going to create our own government, and which basically turned out to be the mafia. And that's why there's all those kind of rules and stuff where, like, in the mafia, it's like, don't touch the women or the children. The business is kind of just for the men. When you go home, you're with your family. Then all the other, codes on top of that. But what they called it first was called in Italian La Cosa Nostra, which it basically means our thing.
Mm. Mm.
Just kind of like what you're saying. This is our way of doing things. It's our own code
Mm.
of rules. It's our own ethics. You guys are fucking us over, so this is our thing. This is how we do it. And then from there, it kind of obviously went down a little more of a criminal route. But
Well, you're dealing with fucking Italians, though. What do you
but
expect?
yeah, I don't think I was saying this to you the other day, Tom. It's just I think that's one thing about like the not snitching thing. Whoever you're really close to, if it just feels like if you couldn't trust them in like a really serious life or death, or like you go into prison situation, that there's still
Mm.
some like disconnect between you guys, But if
Mm.
you really feel that someone, like, no matter what, this dude's gonna be fucking with you 100% ride or die, man. That, I don't know, at least among good dudes, I think that's something that's fucking like really powerful, you know, like this guy's
Mm,
gonna have my back no matter what, you know.
mm,
And that's
mm.
kind of what's really shown in those gangster type movies. It's like, it's, you know, it's more extreme examples, but like, you know, we're gonna take these motherfuckers out, you know. You ain't going alone, dog. I'm fucking with you till it's over, you know.
Mm, mm,
Yeah,
mm.
And that shit, I
which
Yeah,
think, at least among dudes, is powerful, man. Like that camaraderie of just like we're in this, you know, just because, you know, like some sort of, I don't know what the word is, man, but I notice chicks don't really do that, man. They don't really value that as much.
yeah,
yeah,
maybe I don't know about that exactly, man. They might do, but one thing just to break down why people love the mafia, man, that might be the reason why, man, because they have that community. And also that kind of thing where, you know, you got your boy backing you and you know he's fucking backing you, bro. That's a good feeling. Like,
yeah, man.
I think that's
I
almost a
think
necessary feeling.
I think what it ties into as well is that kind of like vigilante justice. You know, like I think a lot of people get frustrated with like the court system and the legal system and stuff like that. Like, how often do you hear about shit like, some murderer or some rapist like fucking got off because like the police fucking like didn't follow some process properly and and that like gathering the evidence or something like that. You know what I mean? Like there's just all these little slip
Stupid.
ups in the system. I think
Yeah.
people see like shit like The Sopranos or whatever, or that kind of thing, and it's like, oh, this guy tried to fucking shoot my cousin. All right, let's go over to his house and fucking kill him. Like it's black
Yeah.
and white.
Yeah. Like they don't like, let's say like one thing for certain, man, The Sopranos does not give a fuck if the evidence doesn't support their cause, man. If they know you did it, you're
Yeah,
dead.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's no, they don't have to follow any stupid fucking system, man.
yeah,
And just like just the whole thing of like respect, you know, it's like people are always afraid of like those guys or whatever, but at the end of the day, man, if you really just like have respect for yourself and respect for them, that's like that's kind of like another code they have. Is like you always
mm,
got to have respect for us, you know, like they kind of demand that level of respect, and if that code is broken, then yo, we got a problem, you know. And I
mm,
think that's something that a lot of dudes really fucking relate to and like look up to, where it's like, I'm a fucking man, I'm a person, like, you know, I deserve to be treated a certain way and respected as a fucking man and as a person. And you know, it doesn't always happen normally just because of the way our society is built up, but those guys, you just see it, and everyone just has like a massive level of respect for them and treats them a certain way and all this, and you're just like, fuck yeah, that looks pretty good, huh? I could work with that. You know.
Yeah.
Like, remember in Goodfellas when a dude walks in the fucking restaurant and he walks in the back entrance and they just grab a table out the back? Like, he walks through the kitchen with his girlfriend, walks through there, and there's not any tables, but they just grab a table out the back and set up the table for him right on the spot in the front row. And it's just
mm.
like, oh shit, that's fucking badass, you know? Like
Yeah, that is
you
badass.
just walk in the joint with some chick, walk through the kitchen, you're fucking saying what's up to everybody. They're like, oh, how you doing? And you just walk past everyone to the front fucking stage, and they bring you your table right there. It's just like, dude, this guy's the fucking boss around here, you know?
Yeah. But one thing, like, just to fucking come from another angle here, man. Like, you know, with the, I, like I remember seeing in The Sopranos, man, like they would be worrying a lot about DNA and shit like that and talking about how it didn't used to exist. So I want to take it a little deeper and further than that. Like in the future, what do you see like with crime and murders and stuff like that? It, to me, man, it seems like technology is going in the speed and the direction of like just eliminating that shit. Like we're probably gonna come up with something like a, like you can tell for 100% sure if the person is lying or not. you can, just use Google Maps and Google Earth or whatever and just see everything with a satellite camera and I don't know exactly, man, but and probably even more, man, more stuff I can't even think up right now. But just like it's probably gonna be impossible to get away with murder and stuff like that. Like if we manage to not blow ourselves up and not fuck up the environment within the next 100 years, I don't think it's gonna be easy to get away with crime.
Mm. Well, I
So,
mean, the NSA is already collecting everyone's fucking communications. Like everything gets recorded and fucking like data banks. Like
yeah,
everything, Facebook, email, text messages, phone calls, everything.
that is fucking insane, man.
It's pretty. It's pretty. It's
One
interesting
thing,
that like people have not been like more tripped out by that shit. You know?
no, but one thing though is like, I don't really mind that for in one way. Like, okay, it's like people watching my emails, I say a lot of fucking crazy shit, but like, it's nothing illegal, man. But one thing I could be a little worried about, and that worries me, is like, if they have all that information, and then all of a sudden they say, you know what, man, we're gonna stop this movement, the internet, we're gonna stop this consciousness thing, fuck ayahuasca, fuck meditation, fuck loving people. We're the government, man, and we like money, and we like to be in control, and we don't give a fuck about what you guys say, so they all of a sudden they tighten up the rules, man. Like and just to give an example, man, like let's say a young bright kid, man, is 20 years old, not 25 years old. He's got a good career ahead of him. He's smart as fuck. He's doing all the good things, and at the same time, he's listening to the Joe Rogan Experience. He's smoking pot, and he sent a little email to his friend, man, with a picture of himself being stoned to the fucking gills. Now the government picks that up and says, you know what, man, you're not gonna be a lawyer after all, 'cause you're a fucking stoner. And fuck your life, you can work at McDonald's, and they can basically screw up your entire life, man, if they change the laws and then use the information they have against that person. So
Yeah.
that would be one example, but it could be 1,000 examples, man. So I think it's good for, crime and stuff like that, but like they got no reason to fucking look me up, man. I never did nobody know, like nothing, So
Yeah, but I think it's pretty fucked up. And like my one friend David I hang out with, we talk about this shit a lot because he's pretty into like conspiracy theories and stuff. And it's just like he's older than me. He's like almost 60, so he's been around. And it was like if he was saying to me, if you told people 10 years ago that all your calls and all your emails were going to be monitored, they would be like, what are you talking about? This isn't fucking, 1984. This isn't like some fucking crazy dystopian society we live in. And then 10 years later, it's happening and nobody even seems to care. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
in the U.S., they passed in 2004, like the Patriot Act, which basically said they can arrest anybody as if they're considered a quote unquote terrorism, which is it's what they did in communist countries. They said, oh, if they were anti-communist, you could just arrest them and torture them and whatever, and nobody said anything about that. And for me, it just really feels like it's like someone coming up to you and being like, "Oh, I'm gonna stick my fingers up your ass," and you're like, "No, I don't want you to stick them up there." Like, well, I'll tell you what, man. Just for your own safety, you may have some diseases just around the rim and all that shit that have like a 1.0001% chance of causing you harm. So let me just stick the tip of my fingers up your ass and just check that out. And then they stick the tip in, and then the next thing is going to be like, you know what, man, we didn't get conclusive results, so now we got to go up to the knuckle. And then pretty soon it's going to be the whole fist. And they're just fucking you slowly, man. That's exactly how it's going to happen, man. They can't just stick the whole fist up your ass right away because you'd be like, whoa. But if you do it slowly, little by little, and then it's just like kind of behind your back, like, just breathe, watch this TV show. We'll give you a massage. You're all distracted, and they're just slowly sticking that fist right up your fucking ass.
yeah, well, it's like extremely fucking scary, man. If you come to think about that law, the Patriot Act or whatever, like
Yeah.
it I don't know if that's the same law, but it's something else, man. Like, basically, man, they don't have to. The law is like this, and I know Obama passed it, so it's like you can basically arrest anyone and keep them in. You can keep them locked up in a cage however long you want, without a trial and without anything. The only thing is that you have to fucking think that they're a terrorist. Like, what
Yeah.
the fuck, man? You don't have to have evidence. You don't have to have nothing. You have to think that they're a terrorist, and then you can lock them up in a cage. No trial, no nothing. Just keep them in there, and that's what they're doing to these whistleblowers, man. They're not fucking terrorists, man. They're just, you know, screaming out what's happening in the world, and your government, Nick, you fucking cocksucker, is keeping them in cages.
Dude, and you notice they didn't say, oh, if they're fucking bionuclear physicists will do that. They picked a word called terrorist, which in reality really has no meaning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A terrorist could be anything. No one even really knows what the fucking word means. It's not like they picked some super specific thing. They said quote unquote terrorist, which is a word that has a lot of fear behind it. So you can translate it to anything. Like this guy was thinking things about harming people. That's a terrorist. Is it a terrorist? I don't know. What's the actual fucking definition anyway? No one even knows. So the whole thing is really just set up around around ambiguity, but that ambiguity and fear really allows them the ability to control the situation.
Yeah, man. And it's like,
Sounds kind
and
of
of
familiar,
course, man,
huh?
and of course they're gonna say, well, we're not gonna use what?
Nothing, man.
Oh, okay. Well, what I was gonna say, man, was that of course they're gonna say, well, we're only going to use this for terrorists. But they already proved that that's not what they're doing. They already used it against what it's about, like with the whistleblowers, and I don't know about other incidents, but there might be some. Like, they can basically take the average American. It doesn't have to be a foreigner. Like, it could be an American, you know, even domestic. So, like, your average American maybe post something on YouTube which is very anti-Obama, for example. I don't like that might be stretching it a little far, but they could, if they wanted to, just take in that motherfucker and keep him in a goddamn fucking cell for the rest of his life, man, and basically ruin his life. And that's a lot of power right there. That is a lot of fucking power.
Yeah, I think for me, that one thing I never liked is just people in like positions of power, whether it's police or politicians, because they can just get away with things without a consequence. Like a police could kill you and there's no consequence, whereas a normal person really, really, if they really want to kill you, for whatever reason, they usually won't do it because they'll think about it and be like, oh, I'm probably going to go to jail for this amount of time, this and that, whereas a police can just be like, oh, he tried to attack me. And then they kill you and boom, it's just like, what do they do? Get a fucking 2 weeks vacation and they're back on the job. And it's just like, I don't think anybody should have that type of position because, I mean, and now with the internet, it's so much, it really reaffirmed all that shit that I thought because I would just see it from time to time, like when I was growing up and not even that much. I just really got that feeling. But then when the internet got bigger, you see these videos posted all the time of, like on certain websites of just, someone filming something go down and the cop just kills some dude who had his hands in the fucking air because he thought he went to reach down to grab something in his pocket. And then afterwards he's like, yeah, we found, he had a vial of crack and a fucking knife in his pocket that in reality they planted on the dude because they didn't want to look like they just fucking killed him. And it's like, dude, that's why I just think those positions of power is, if people get in them, they naturally abuse them.
Yeah, man. And one thing that could solve that problem with cops, I heard something interesting on the Rogan podcast the other day, man, was every fucking cop should have a camera, like a GoPro, on their body at all times, recording everything they fucking say and do, just to keep them under control, man. Because like everyone else, we have to follow the rules, like don't be violent and don't kill people and shit like that. Well, that doesn't apply for cops, so we have to use another system to prevent that stuff. And a camera would be a good way to do it, man. And yeah, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it'd have to be like something they couldn't fuck with though, 'cause I could easily see them like taking it off or some shit like that. They have a lot of them have cameras in the dashboard of the car, which gets them busted for things. But yeah, I don't know. The other thing is all the cops always kind of look out for each other too. So it's like,
Mm.
who are you gonna believe, the criminal or the cop or the other cop? It's like, who are you gonna fucking believe, the six cops who were there or the one criminal guy getting arrested? It's just like really the odds are stacked in the cops' favors.
Yeah, and they're a team too, man. They're on team cops.
Yeah, like my old roommate, his brother was in the SWAT team, and this dude would he would just drive home like fucking drunk, and he said he's gotten pulled over like 4 or 5 times, like fucking smashed, and he just tells the dude like, "Oh, this is my brother." He's like, "All right, go home, no worries, man."
Shit.
And usually that's like a DUI is like, you lose your license for 6 months, $5,000 fine. You might have to go to Alcoholics Anonymous for 10 years. You pay way more money on your insurance. And then he just like drops a name. And it's like, oh, yeah, don't worry about it, Doug.
Yeah, well,
That's why I say, man, you got to have a cop buddy at all times, man. It's always beneficial to have one cop friend.
yeah,
Wherever you're at, man, get one cop friend and fucking take that dude out or whatever, man, because that shit's gonna save your life one day. Fucking buy that dude drinks every time you go out, whatever, man. You gotta have that one cop buddy.
you better have it, man. Ugh,
God damn.
fuck. Getting all tired and shit over here, dog.
Told you should have drank that coffee, man.
I got up early this day, dog.
Yeah, Freddie, man. Hey, Tom, how long you think Freddie's gonna last with this no eating thing?
I don't know, man. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I think he can do it.
Okay,
Thank you, dog.
man.
I believe in you, man.
I'm gonna say, what's my prediction, man? I don't know the exact time, man, but I would say 6:55 p.m.
5 or 6 p.m. Okay, man.
No,
I'll text you.
6:55 p.m.
6:55.
Yeah, not between 6 and 5. 6:55 p.m., man. That's a good, I don't know, 8 hours, 7 hours.
So
Yeah.
do you have a target, Freddie, or are you just kind of trying to do it for as long as you can?
No,
Only
man.
one day, right?
Dog, I got 24 hours.
24 hours, okay. I think you can do it,
So,
man. It's not that hard.
Yeah, I
it's
mean, like
possible,
fucking
man.
big, delicious, juicy burgers aren't really that nice. Got some fucking nice pancakes with some scrambled eggs and toast with some butter and jam.
Don't put that
Fucking,
shit in my brain,
some
man.
fucking
Don't fucking
nice,
put it in.
nice crispy bacon. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
You're a fucking dickhead, you know that?
Hey man, I'm just making it that much more of a challenge, man, right?
Yeah, you are. But I'm sticking to water, dog.
All right, man. What about
And
protein?
tomorrow,
What
shit,
about a protein shake?
not a protein shake, dog. No, nothing.
All right.
But tomorrow, man, I will make myself a beautiful fucking dinner. Maybe some burgers. Maybe a burger with some salad.
Oh fuck, that sounds good, dog. What kind of salad?
I don't know, man.
Some tomatoes,
Any.
a little bit of kale, some fucking vinaigrette dressing on that bitch, maybe a little
Oh,
bit of
yeah.
cheese.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice fucking burger with some pickles and ketchup and onions and just the juice is running down the side.
tomato, maybe some
Fucking
cheese,
flavor. Oh, a nice couple slices of cheese on there. Maybe some fucking French
maybe,
fries on the side. Oh shit.
maybe some French fries.
Guess what, Doug? You might go for seconds even if you're that hungry, right?
Oh,
Ooh, 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 man.
maybe some onion rings just to make it
Oh, Doug.
officially American.
You just dropped it, man. You just dropped the fucking that word, man. Onion rings.
Yeah. Oh shit. Well, how good is fucking food, man? I love it.
I'll tell you, Tom. I don't know if you. I was hanging out with this dude for 3 months, man. Freddie is what I call and what I've seen statistically throughout time is being a fat ass has nothing to do with how much you weigh. Being a fat ass is a mentality. And Freddie's a fucking fat ass. Being a fat
No
ass
doubt about it.
it's a state of mind, man. It's got nothing to do with fucking how much you weigh, man. A lot of times, that state of mind makes you weigh a lot, but at the end of the day, man, being a fat ass is just that love for fucking food.
Oh, I love it, man. It's like sometimes I would eat over having sex. Sometimes. I love it, Doug.
Yeah, man. If you're really hungry, though, I think your body prioritizes, man. Like, I remember one time I was in New Orleans, I was hanging out with this chick, and it was late at night. And I don't know, for whatever reason, dude, there was maybe 3 times the whole year where I was this hungry. And I just remember she was like talking to me, and I was not paying attention at all. And like, I remember just like, I found this place to eat, and I like pushed her out of the way a little bit to walk over there. It was just so fucking primal, man, how bad I wanted to eat. And then when I did eat, I just went over to this corner of curb because I don't want to be near anybody and just like kind of arch my back over the food and just shovel the shit down, like I don't want anybody near me or to steal my food. It was just strictly primal, man. And then afterwards, I remember like taking a cab back and I didn't even realize it, but to the time, but this chick was so fucking mad, man. And didn't end up banging her because she was just like, "You're a fucking asshole." That I thought about it, but I was really so hungry, like I couldn't even think about anything else but like fucking doing whatever I could to eat that food. And probably maybe there was 2 times last year where I was that hungry, and it wasn't even like I didn't eat all day. It was just something happened. But there's times where you just get like fucking ravenous like that, where you don't even want people around you. You just want to fucking scarf the food down and like a fucking hungry lion, just like oh,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, man. Like that fucking primal instinct, Doug.
Fuck yeah, man.
And yeah.
So many people try
Some
to be civilized about it, like, oh, fucking eat with a fork and a knife and, you know, eat slowly and close your mouth when you chew. Man, fuck that shit, Doug. That for me, that never felt normal. It just never
No,
felt
it's
natural.
not normal.
It's not natural.
You should be eating with your fucking face, Doug. And hands. But hey, I think I gotta wrap this up pretty soon, man, cause I'm gonna drive some food for my mother.
Oh my
Gotta help
God,
her
it's
out.
already over, man. You're delivering food.
That's even fucking worse, Doug.
Freddie, you should have set this up better, man. Like, I'll tell you,
I
I think
didn't
I
expect
did it,
it.
and like I was hanging out at my house, and like people were cooking all day or cooked the fucking dinner. Oh man, that'd be hard. But if I was sitting alone somewhere where there was no food for miles, that'd help. But if you're delivering food, goddamn.
It's not just any type of food, man. It's like the best fucking food I can imagine. So I'll probably try and not look at it too much.
Yeah, but Tom McSherry, man, but you got anything to say to these people, man? What? I feel like we've been doing most of the talking the whole time, or I was gone half the time.
Um, I don't know, man. I'm
I
pretty
think
spent.
that
I believe in you. I told you I believe in you there, Freddy. So you gotta fucking do this thing, man. I'm gonna,
Okay.
you
oh
gotta
shit,
fucking
man,
do it now. Gotta do
I don't like
it.
that. I don't like this, Tom. You're trying to bring him up, man. I'm trying to bring him down. That's not what good friends do, man. Good friends don't fucking try and bring people up, man. They try and bring them down. I
No,
believe in you. Look at that.
no snacking on that food delivery, Freddie.
Yeah, Freddie,
No
No,
snacking,
no
buddy.
fucking snack.
anytime you get desires, just picture a little fucking angel Tom McSherry on your right shoulder, like, Freddie, you can do it. And then picture me in a little devil costume poking you with the fucking scepter in your neck, being like, yo, Freddie, that fucking cookie looks good, huh? Man, wouldn't that be delicious? Then Tom's like, Freddie, don't do it. I believe in you.
You know what, man? I'll probably have like a little psychedelic vision of that shit, cause I don't deal good with being hungry, man.
Yeah, man. You're gonna be tripping balls, man.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think if you don't eat and you don't sleep for like 2 days, you really start hallucinating, man. Especially the
Yeah, man.
sleep thing. Like one of my friends did that in high school. Like he didn't sleep for 3 days just to try it out, and he said he was really fucking like seeing shit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard the same thing. In the military in Norway, you have to walk like fucking long like hike with a big bag, and you don't get to eat, and you drink little, and all those, so like all the fucking time, either somebody just passes the fuck out, or they start hallucinating, man, like having real psychedelic shit just popping up from time to time, messing with your mind.
Oh yeah, dude, fuck yeah. The one thing I wanted to throw out here is I was talking to Tom this weekend. This dude, around the same time as us, he's probably gonna be around South America, man.
No way.
I don't think I dropped that to
Yeah,
you,
man.
man.
You didn't drop that at all.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
pretty.
So, yeah, probably want to sometime at least check out that carnival along the way, man. Get a little
Yeah.
crazy there.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Fuck yeah, man. That is good news.
Yeah, man. Good
Gonna be
motherfucking news, baby.
reckless.
Reckless, man.
Mm-hmm.
The Wrecking Crew.
Oh
That
man.
should be our nickname.
I gotta fucking say, man, I do miss Tom Cruise and Christian Bale from time to time.
Oh yeah, man. There'll be plenty more of that.
I love
Dude,
it, man.
the
That's one
one
of my.
vision I always love of Tom McSherry in my head is like I just like when we talk on Skype, it's all good. Like we're hanging out in Paris, it was all normal. But I just feel like if Tom McSherry has a beer in his hand, you know there's gonna be some mischief going on, man. You know, like we just hanging out normally, it's all good. But if this dude has a beer in his hand, fucking mischief is in the air, man. Like that image of Tom McSherry with the beer is like, oh shit, something's gonna happen sooner or later.
Something's going the fuck down, brother.
Something's gonna happen, and that's his lethal weapon, you know. That's his potent potion to fucking
Lethal.
lethal weapon. I just got that, man.
Lethal.
Oh no, the lethal weapon.
You gotta love it, man.
Potent,
Ah.
potent potion, dog.
Yeah, man. It's yeah, I gotta go, but it's been fucking good, man. I don't know what you heard, Nick, but Tom actually dropped quite a lot of fucking knowledge in when you were going back and forth.
Cool, man.
Yeah. Well, I know he's got more to fucking offer, so maybe we'll do this another time, man. You know,
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
if you want to get back on.
Yeah, man.
I just
Sure.
remember the
Or
last
well,
one we did in France. All we did was talk about Scott Lee the whole time.
yeah.
So it was good to change it up this time around, man. Good to fucking get a little bit of different angle on it.
Yeah.
Hey, did Dustin say anything else about like did he hang out with Scott when he visited Hawaii that much, or he just said that shit like,
Yeah,
oh, is there anything else I can do if there's anything you can do to help out? Or what was the line, man? It was like
Oh
He
yeah, it was
presented
something
like,
like
oh yeah, yeah, whatever you can do to have a chance
to
to
help
help out the unspoken pitch.
the unspoken pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like he told me he hung out with him for like half an hour, and he said that there was a few good like new Scott Lee isms that came out of that, but he hasn't told me what they were.
So they didn't really hang out at all, though. Just 30 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much I think. But I'm seeing Dustin in like 3 days, so
Yeah,
I'll
you're
ask him
going
then.
to. Yo, one thing I want to ask you though before leaving. Are you going to the Jordan Belfort seminar?
Nah, I'm planning on not going to it now. I was gonna go to it, but with all the stuff that's kind of happened in the last few days, I think it's better for me to stay away from it.
Okay, because other people are going there.
Mainly because of of Tim going there. I don't really want to see him in person right now.
Okay, okay. Yeah, wait a minute. We'll wrap up the podcast. Peace out, bitches. I hope you got something out of this shit. And, yeah, keep hammering, dog.
Peace out, bugs.
Peace.
Motherfucking Jordan Belfort conference.
Wait a minute, man. I can't fucking turn this bitch off. Honestly, I can't fucking turn this motherfucker off.
Fucking hallucinations are already starting, man.
Yeah, let's just end the call and we'll recall for a minute or so, okay?
Okay,
Okay.
man.